not getting super close.
But look for like larger groupings. Can we overhear anything from people passing by, that type of stuff? But definitely stay a little ways away.
And I would also fake having, or actually, I would have a discussion with Rialden while peeking from time to time, but I would try to hide my peeking and
sure, trying to play like you're not super interested. You're just whatever. What are you doing there, Traden?
Yeah.
These two paladins are having a discussion. What are you doing? Just grunting in the corner, fapping.
Whoa.
Definitely fapping.
In our previous adventure, he was playing a air gensai, so I would constantly make jokes about how he was fapping because the wind was constantly blowing through him. So
I suppose I'll keep watch not to start any trouble.
Okay.
Come against all his willpower.
He's just biting his lip, biting his tongue.
Pretty much.
He's watching the paladin so we don't do something crazy.
Okay, so as you guys are gonna kind of sit up and take post there as times as you're waiting for everyone else. So then back to you other three as you pay your respects to the lion coaster lady. You start to turn to walk out the door, and two Redbrands come walking in to the room, and they kind of... So Sildar, being closest to the door, turns first, and as they come in, they put a... As he's walking out, they come walking in, and one of them puts his hand on his chest and goes, "Whoa, buddy, where are you going? What do we have here? We got 3 little new adventurers showing up in our town, eh?" And there's 2 of them.
Wait, where does this happen, and who does this happen to?
This happens to Varian and Rin and Sildar.
Oh, okay. And they're walking into the tavern, or are they...
No, they're about to walk out of the Lion Shield coaster, the shop.
Oh, okay.
And as they're walking out, 2 Redbrands walk in, and they're like, whoa, where are you going now? Well.
We're still in the building?
Yes, you're coming out of the building, and as you're coming out, they're kind of blocking in the building and pushing inwards.
And who is he touching, just out of curiosity?
Sildar.
Okay.
You made the mistake that I'm with them. I think I was on my way out onto the next ship. Just passing through, really.
Oh, we've got some mouthy ones here, don't we? What's your business in Phandelver? And Sildar kind of looks at the hand that's being pressed against his chest, and then he kind of looks at you guys to... What are we doing? Like he's looking for the okay.
I give a heavy sigh, and I glance over at the woman that we were dealing with in the lion's cloister, and kind of see how she feels about us wrecking the place. I'm gonna glance over at her and kind of see what her general demeanor is.
Okay.
If she's giving me any kind of like indication as to whether she doesn't want me to start any trouble, that kind of thing.
Okay, so she, you kind of glance back at her, and she's kind of like eyeballing the situation. She obviously recognizes the Redbrands, and she's just like, and you can see her kind of like as if she's leaning under the counter to try to get maybe some kind of weapon that may be hidden under the counter.
Okay, so I'm going to say to the Redbrand, "Gentlemen, I think you may have bitten off more than you can chew. This commonly happens in the wild where a predator thinks he's found his prey, and then a bigger fish will eat them unsuspectingly. So I suggest you remove your hand from my friend here before it gets removed permanently."
So Sildar, kind of, as you're saying this, he starts to wrap his hand around his sword a bit, and is getting ready for the possible coming engagement.
I start sweating profusely.
Don't you
But
covered in
nobody
water
knows
all the
it.
time anyway?
Nobody can tell.
There's just like a puddle building up underneath you.
They probably think I've soiled myself.
I was
now.
just gonna say, so that,
Yeah.
the
They think you pissed yourself.
the ruffian to the Redbrand does not have his hand on Sildar, is kind of like looking at you like, what is going on? I think he pissed himself.
Don't mind my friend.
And then the other Redbrand, the one who has his hand on Sildar, goes, "Oh, I think you got it wrong, mate. You're the ones who've bitten off more than you can chew." And let's
I turn into a brown bear and swallow him. Now you're gonna make me roll initiative. So
Yep, we're gonna do all that business. I'm just trying to get my layers correct here. All right, so I'm just gonna.
Now, how do you
move
want me
you
to
guys
handle?
up.
How do you want me to handle hit points for things that I turn into? By the way.
I think you have two separate hit point pools when you shapeshift, right?
No, what I'm saying is, do you want me to roll for hit points for each form that I go into, or to just use the median hit points, or how do you want to handle that?
So I like to roll no matter what for it because I just think it's more interesting. But if you want to use the medians for stuff that you shift into, I'm okay with that. So I'll kind of leave that one up to you, whatever you want to do. Only because if you want to take the risk, you could roll super low. If you want to take the median, you're kind of safe, right?
Can I pick and choose as I
No.
No,
I'd rather you
I have to
pick.
pick a rule and stick with it forever and ever.
I would prefer it that way, yeah.
Fair. I'll use the median going forward. It'll just make things a little easier for everybody.
Sure. And I mean, it'll make it easier for you too when you're like explaining to others, like, "Oh, I can handle this," or "I don't know if I can handle this."
Yeah, it also might be a little OP if I rolled really high on something.
Yeah, it could be. But I mean, I'm okay with that because so the reason I roll individually for all my characters is I think that it demonstrates one guy's stronger than another guy, one guy's a little, fatter than another guy. Like it adds that dynamic of differences. It also stops you from saying, I killed that goblin with 5 hit points. I know all these goblins have 5 hit points or less. So that's why I like rolling them individually.
Yeah, I think for the purposes of this, the median just makes sense. So I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I think it does as well, only because it makes it a lot easier depending upon what you're changing into and how frequently you're changing and all that kind of stuff. Just seems like it would make things easier. All right, let's roll some initiatives.
We haven't done anything yet? All right, cool.
Yep. Got a 2 and a 5, already starting off rolling like shit.
Wowzer. I had my thing highlighted, but it didn't put that in
Some
there.
battle
Initiative,
music.
what's for? Awesome.
Alright, so you're 4.
I don't know why that didn't work.
And Sildar. Is an 11. And Vey. You're a 21. Yours worked.
I may not need to turn into a bear.
All right. So first turn on the counter, Veyron. So you've got one Redbrand holding his hand against Sildar's chest, and one Redbrand right to his right. So pretty much how you guys are set up right here. We'll say he's a little bit more in front of you, so they're a little bit closer.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay, I cast Ice Knife on.
Sweet.
That's a nice spell.
That is a nice spell. So 23 is your roll to hit, yeah? Yep, charisma modifier. Yep, that is correct. So 23 is definitely a hit. Which one are you targeting? You didn't. Your mic cut out. The one on the left. Right?
Yeah, all right. That's interesting.
Sorry, each creature within 5
Oh,
feet.
so it hits every square around.
Yeah, it does. On a
That's awesome.
dex
Friendly
saving
fire.
throw.
So that's
Yeah.
gonna hit Sildar too.
Yes.
That's all right. He'll be okay. I'll feed him some berries. If not.
All right, so 23 is a hit. Does it
Yeah, I have to roll for
D10?
damage.
Yep, roll damage.
And then I think after that, the shard explodes, and each creature within 5 feet of the point at which it exploded has to take a dexterity saving throw.
Yep. Yep, or they take 2d6 cold damage. So, the first guy, you throw the ice knife into him, and he's like, "Ah, what the is this?" He's like, "From the peeing guy!" And then it explodes.
It wasn't pee!
I'm not peeing, I swear! Dex saving throw for the first Redbrand. D20 plus 2. What's your, you're at 13, right?
13.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So the first Redbrand, he makes the dex saving throw. He just kind of like he takes his hands off of Sildar and kind of shields his face from the ice shards. And he's like, "Ah, that was unexpected." Now poor Sildar, with no modifier, does not make it. Would you like to roll the 2d6? Three damage, not bad. So, Sildar takes a couple of shards from the explosion, and he just kind of like looks back at you and he goes, "No problem, I can take a licking and keep on ticking." He's a corny old man.
He's the worst.
Next turn is Sildar's turn.
Can I activate my tempestuous magic?
The other Redbrand too has to roll for that DC.
Yeah, that's right.
There's only two. He did roll. He saved. First was a 19. He saved. Second was Sildar.
Yeah, but it would hit. It would hit the guy that the ice knife hit. Plus, it would hit the guy next to him because if it's going to hit Sildar, it's going to hit that guy too.
But he was the original target, right? So is it the
still explodes
explosion
and hits
hits
him as
him
well.
too?
Yeah, it hits everybody. You
Oh,
know.
the target and each creature. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So roll for him.
It's a nice spell.
17. So he saves.
Yeah, the only downside is there's no half damage on it. So.
Yeah.
So he's okay. And he's just still kind of like, shocked from the original shard that went into him. And then what did you want to do?
I wanted to activate my tempestuous magic, which allows me to fly up to 10 feet in a direction after casting a first level spell.
Okay. So you kind of start to float up off the ground. You want to move to the back of the room a bit?
Yeah.
Sure. So you move to the back of the room, kind of like behind the shopkeep's bar a bit, where you see